think they would.
They would.
Yeah. Like, to make it more realistic, I'm sure they would have got some good stories.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want much, just like a couple, sets of golf balls, probably. I didn't want no cheese in it.
Yeah. Everybody that you talk to that's a part of that era of the Don Sterling, none of y'all got together and kind of, hey, DJ, did you see this part? Or
I mean, we text about it for sure. Okay. Like we talk about it. Like obviously, everybody talks about like the practice scene.
Yeah.
When Doc is like going crazy on guys. Like Doc definitely was like on guys, but like some of the things that he said in there, absolutely false. Like, I love Matt Barnes and I love Doc. You think if Doc said that, what he said to the show in Matt Barnes, there wouldn't have been a fist fight on the court. Like, I doubt that, But, I mean, it's just like, it's entertaining, you know what I mean? And I think that that group, we went through a lot of things, ups and downs. We had a lot of great moments, a lot of shitty moments. I don't know if I can... I didn't know what I could do on Podcast Pete. But like I said, man, we had a lot of great moments. We had a lot of highs and lows, and I think that the show kind of embodies that from what I've heard. But I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I want to check it out. Have you watched it at all?
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
I've just seen all the.
It's funny. I saw a billboard, and the billboard was like. What did it say? Something about LA's other team. Have you seen that?
Disrespectful.
And I was disrespectful. Why would y'all broadcast that about the show?
I get it.
Don't understand. Like, it's kind of like, hey, what?
It was like the story of LA's other team.
Yeah. It seems like they would have to give permission though to be able to just do a TV show on the Clippers and representing. That's kind of like
it was something like that, right? Yeah,
dang.
I was like,
talk about a headline.
Well, it's like, hey, watch the lower rated version of Winning Time.
Right.
You know, like, damn.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the Prize Picks community today. With Prize Picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a Prize Picks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're locked in. So we don't have Jackie in today, but we do have the infamous YT, the producer, with us doing the Prize Picks ad roll today.
So Dallas, to show people how it's done, let's do a more or less projection for players on Tuesday. WNBA game between the Lynx and the Liberty game.
Okay, let's do it.
More or less, Courtney Williams, 15 points.
I'm going to take less.
More or less, Breonna Stewart, 20 points.
I'm going to take less there, too.
So last one, Dallas, all right?
Let's hear it.
More or less, Sabrina Ionescu, 6 assists.
I'm going to take more on that one, YT.
Okay.
So download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. I repeat, download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. So Jay Redick just became the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I think he signed a 4-year deal. But I want to know if you think he's ready to be a head coach, and more specifically for the Lakers, because this isn't in any other team. This is the Los Angeles Lakers. How do you think he's going to do?
One of the most prominent sports teams in all the sports. I think that, in my opinion, no head coach is ready to be a head coach when it's that time. I think it's kind of like you get baptized by fire and you kind of just go with the flow. However, I believe that JJ is a very smart guy. He knows the game. He's knowledgeable. He does know how to communicate with different players and with different backgrounds and skill sets. The Lakers' job, man, it's a tough job in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think that obviously that team has won 17 championships. They are expected to win. They hold everybody to a high standard, P, as you know. Like, so it's not, they're not going to treat them like a first coaching experience head coach. It's going to be like, no, you're expected to come in here and win, and that's it. But, JJ went to Duke, had a lot of pressure his entire career, defied a lot of odds, you know what I'm saying? So I think he's up for the challenge. I mean, I just hope that, whenever they play the Nuggets, that he doesn't succeed. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
But I'm rooting for JJ. I hope he does well.
Yeah, I mean, that's pressure. Like, because you seen first time was Darvin Ham's coaching career, and you saw how quick things went left, and the Lakers
got his ass out of there.
Yeah, especially they went to the Western Conference Finals last year.
Exactly.
From where they played in last year, I think.
Yep.
So that's, I thought he did a great
sweat,
job
though.
with them last year, but PSG,
damn.
It's tough.
See, this is why I don't like watercolor.
You gotta,
I'm about to
you gotta
start.
go right now, and if you don't, it's tough.
It's gonna be it's already just the media and everyone talking about like, oh, he does the podcast with LeBron already. It is a very interesting
There's
dynamic.
a lot of controversy around it already.
It's gonna be fun. But in 2016, you guys both played on the same team in the Olympics in Brazil, and there was a ton of different characters on that team. You had yourself, you had P, DeMarcus Cousins, KD, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie. But regardless of all those characters, it seemed like you guys really meshed well, and a lot of funny moments came out on video. Just walk us through what for you would be the most memorable moment of that trip.
Ooh, man, that trip was dope, man. I think for me, just being able to be an Olympian first was amazing. You know what I mean? And just to be able to play with future Hall of Famers like P and a handful of other guys was amazing. I remember watching the Olympics with my grandma, with my brothers when we were younger, and just to be able to have the opportunity come up for me, and then to ultimately for us to win gold was awesome. And P and I were in the second unit for a bit, and we were kind of like the Suicide Squad out there. You know what I mean? We were just like, let's get stops and run, and just kind of be the energetic group, and that's what we did. And it was super duper fun, man. And I feel like when guys go to the Olympic team, the ego kind of goes out of the way. You know what I mean? And it's like we're there for one common goal. We got to beat the rest of these countries because they don't care about us, and we got to come out on top. And it was like, hey, you may not be able to be the Paul George in Indiana, but you got to be the Paul George in the second unit doing this. And like, so guys had to sacrifice, and that was kind of cool to see. And also, like, I'll never be able to play with a team like this other than maybe like an all-star team or a summer pro-am league or something like that. So just to be able to do that in Brazil was pretty cool, man. And I feel like we all got along. No, there was no bullshit bickering. The guys got along. We cared for each other. We spent a ton of time together. Because you remember, it was like Zika around that time. So, like, you thought if you got bit by a mosquito, it was over with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. You know, like, it was a tough time. So we were on the boat the whole time. So we were literally practice back to the boat. You know, so we spent a ton of time together, whether it be video games, dominoes, cards, whatever. We spent a ton of time together in those short months, and it paid off for us.
Yeah. I do think that shit was fun because, like, on our teams respectively, we're the stars of our teams. You know what I mean? And then we go over there. It was like fun playing a role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm not like cool. Like, I just get to lock shit up. Like, like this. Cool. I'm down with that. That shit was fun.
Yeah.
But I thought the best part about it was, like, you got to see everybody's preparation and everybody prepared differently. You know what I mean? So it was cool to see, like, okay, this is how Melo works out and he gets ready for his season, and this is how KD does it, and this is how Kyrie does it. And it was cool to just see everybody's blend and see what works for them, what doesn't, what, you know, this person added this because of this person now. Like, it was just cool to see all of that unpacked. Yeah. And then we had a hell of a time, like, you kept the fucking group chat.
I heard of it. I think you should.
Right.
Clay was on this team, right?
Clay was on this team.
Yeah. You lost a bunch of money on the FIFA. That's what you.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Clay got me on the FIFA.
That team was fun, man. Just like for me, like, my job never changes when I'm on the team. You know what I'm saying? Hey, set screens, roll, dunk, rebound, block shots. Like, my job is easy. You know what I mean? But I think, like Pete said, guys being able to be selfless and get themselves up for a greater goal, I thought was cool. And for me to also be able to sit back and watch Paul George, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, like Jimmy Butler, them guys play one-on-one, that shit was the best for me, because I'm like, oh, this is what fans feel like sitting courtside. Like, I can sit here and just watch this shit all day. Like, that was a great experience for me, man. It was cool. It was cool.
During the second year in the league, Clippers drafted BG, right? Blake Griffin. When did y'all have that we became best friends, like the step brothers moment? Like,
man,
when did that relationship establish?
That's crazy. I would say, like, right away, man, because I went to Blake's draft workout. I mean, obviously, like, everybody. And country knew
Right.
we were taking.
Right. You
Blake
going number
at
one, you got to see who this kid
And I was in LA, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna go to the workout. I got nothing else to do. You know, I got no kids, no girl. I'm here. I'm going. And I think that, you know, going to college for a year and, you know, having that dorm with your teammate experience, kind of like we all lived together after practice. I only had that for a year when most guys had that for, you know, 4 seasons. And
Right.
I think it was that, man, because my rookie year it was kind of like, oh, what you doing after practice? You know, it's like, I'm going home. I got kids. I'm
Right.
going here with my girl. I'm like, I guess
yes.
I'm going to go home and play FIFA. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just kind of like, I missed that. And then to have another young guy on the team with Eric Gordon, Mike Taylor, and myself, we kind of all kind of became super duper close. And Blake and I became super duper close, obviously. And we were teammates for another 9 years after that. And we did pretty much everything together because it was like we were around the same age, we liked a lot of the same things, and we were as thick as thieves then.
Cause y'all what? A year apart?
A year apart, yeah.
So, like, I got me a little bro now.
Yeah, it was cool, bro. Like, we're obviously the same like high school class, but I came out a year before Blake. But it was like league wise, it was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna come up through my NBA career with this guy. And at that time, we had been thinking like we were gonna be with the Clippers for 20 years. Like that's what our plan was to do it. We pushed each other. You know, Blake works extremely hard, so it was like, okay, I kind of got somebody to push off with right now. Like, okay, he sees me doing this, he's gonna try to do more. I see him doing this, and I'm gonna try to do more. So that kind of like competition between ourselves was awesome to have. Yeah.
So during that time, Live City's developed, right? CP's there, you, BG. What time in that area is like most memorable of like, you know, this is just one of the funnest times? Because for a long time, Live City was like, when you played the Clippers, you knew what you was getting into.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers gonna run and watch out. Watch out.
It was fun, man. It was just like, I think at the beginning when we first got Chris, we were kind of like, oh shit, we're excited to dunk. You know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of what it was. I was like, man, we got one of the best passers, if not the best passer of all time, who wants to pass, throwing us the ball whenever. And I remember when CB first got there, he was like throwing the lob like right at the rim. And we was kind of like, damn, bro, like,
Let's have some fun.
and he was like, what? I'm putting it where it needs to be. And we was like, no, like, throw it like a little bit here, you know, so we can kind of like cock it back going.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, okay. So then in practice, he kind of was just throwing it anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's like, all right, one of y'all go get it. You know, so after then, it was kind of like he knew that he didn't have to place it for us.
Yeah.
So that was fun to kind of be able to get that.
So the
gym.
Live City was developed in practice.
Oh yeah, we would just try crazy shit in practice. Like he would just come through, we would do something, and I'd be like, yo, I'm behind you, and he would just didn't look. Before he would look and then have to. But after a while, he was just like,
Can y'all see the difference between these three? Because I
One
can't.
of y'all will come and get
Just a little
it, you
bit.
know? So that was fun. But I think that we lost
Ain't no
to
difference for real.
Memphis. After that, it got serious. You know, it was kind of like, okay, well, shit, we can do this. We don't want that feeling again. You know, they had like TA and Marc Gasol and Conley and Zebo. So it was kind of like, shit, we got to be more serious about our craft. And, you know, it can't just be trying to get dunks like in an AAU game or in an All-Star game. We got to be serious about it. And I think that we kind of took our games up to another level after that. So
Yeah.
it was cool to kind of see that.
You wish you would have trademarked the Live City name.
Yeah. But at that time, we weren't even thinking about that. You know what I
Right,
mean? It was
right.
kind of like, I'm 20 years old. Let's just rock and roll. You know
Right,
what I
because
mean?
y'all just in a moment.
Yeah, it's just, but yeah, after that, it was kind of like, oh shit, well, we probably lost out on it.
You guys had a great rivalry with the Warriors, you know, a little bit before their dynasty run. But there were a lot of moments, for instance, Jermaine O'Neal confronts Blake in the Staples Center tunnel. But when you look back on those games, what would you say was maybe the most tense moment that you guys had while playing the Warriors?
We had a Christmas game against the Warriors that was pretty fun. But I would probably say playoffs. It was either game 6 or 7. Game 6 was when all of the Sterling shit happened. And I remember we like flipped our warm up inside out and all that. And before that, it was just such an emotional game that I was like, man, we gonna either beat their ass about 20 or they gonna beat us about 20. If the game's not gonna be close, we ended up getting smoked that night. But then game 7 at home, we ended up beating them at the end in a pretty close game. But it was just such an emotional time, man, and they were such a great team. And I think they ended up winning it all the next year. So I think that playoff series against them was probably one of the best times we had. Yeah.
And you just mentioned, Chris Paul and him throwing those lobs, but we just had Dante Jones on the pod a few months ago, and he mentioned how Blake and CP were just so different. And you could see it in the media. It almost felt like there was, maybe a little bumping of the heads between them two. But is there a particular story that you remember that kind of explains how demanding CP was as a teammate, but also one of the leaders?
I think, man, people can say what they want about CP. I think that CP is, you want to have CP on your team. Because, he is going to fight until the buzzer goes off. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when you got a dog like that on your team, it's great to be around because he's going to motivate you to be the best player you can be. He's going to challenge you, which some guys don't like to be challenged. You know what I mean? Let's get that out there in the open. Some guys don't like that shit. But Chris is a guy that's like, no, I need you to be better so we can be better as a team. And he wants to be held accountable. And I think that's important to have, especially from your point guard. You know what I'm saying? Their voices, it has to carry. But Chris, he expected a lot out of all of us. And I think that people kind of get rubbed the wrong way with that. And I think when you're young, you kind of like, damn, man, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But as you get older, you start to understand the game. You start to understand, guys get to a certain point and they want to win a championship and they see these opportunities that they had when they were younger and they kind of slip away. You don't want those to slip away in the time where you have a great team around you. So it's kind of like, I'm not going to do what I did last time and maybe be quiet or let this shit slide. You kind of got to, all leaders aren't liked. You know what I mean? Right. That's the thing about being a leader. It's people are going to be pissed at you sometimes because of how you're handling everything. But if it's for the betterment of the team, it's kind of like, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Right.
Walk us through the play, because I know there's a video where maybe there was a little miscommunication with the rebound and the game clock, and he just started cussing you out. Walk us through that play.
I remember that, bro, and I was sick after that, man. So I remember it too. There was maybe a couple seconds on the shot clock, maybe 1 second on the shot clock, and it was a 3-second game clock differential. So CP, I remember shot a floater, and I'm crashing the glass, thinking I gotta tip it in to win, and I fucking came down with the ball. You know what I'm saying? I came down with it. I'm like, damn, man, it's over. We gotta go to overtime or it's over with. And then I'm like, oh shit. And I'm trying to shoot it. And then I think it was Scott Foster or somebody's like, no shot.
Yeah.
But when I can't look at it. I can't look at it because I know I'm gonna be sick when I look at it.
Yeah.
And then of course, when you're young, you go look at everything on social media. You know? And I looked at it and I was like,
social media beating you down.
I'm looking at it like, you idiot, what the fuck, da-da-da-da, my parlay asshole, It's damn, man, I could have, when I look at even when I look at it now, I'm like, I could have tipped up that shit. Right. But fortunately, it wasn't that important of a game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can see it.
I feel like it threw the other because nobody tried to foul you, nobody tried to defend you.
Dane was sitting right there and he was kind of just standing behind me all right, well, overtime. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew what was going on, so I'm glad I wasn't the only one who was kind of in a brain fart situation. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah. So 2017 voted to NBA All-Star, and obviously, All-Star games is nothing you take for granted. What was the experience like for you? That being your first All-Star nod, what was that moment like?
It was surreal, man, because I feel you feel like you have a season, you're like, I'm supposed to make it this year. I should make it. I'm going to make it this year. And I had a couple seasons like that prior to. And it was it was exciting to make it. I was also pissed because I'm like, fuck, I should have made it last year.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was a humbling experience being able to, like, it was almost like the Olympics, man.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to, like, play with Hall of Fame guys on an all-star team, knowing that this is something that you've watched since you were a kid. You know what I mean? And I think that me being able to do that and represent the Clippers like I did was amazing. It was a surreal experience. I have a lot of friends who were in New Orleans, and my family came up. So just to be able to have them there was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You shared the story about how Doc told you can make 100 M's by defending and rebounding.
I told him that was impossible.
Break that story down.
I said that's impossible. So when Doc first got the job, we went to dinner. Malibu.
Stock spot.
That's his spot. You know that's his spot.
Stock spot.
That's Doc spot.
That's his spot, man.
I go to the Noble.
Yeah. Come on, guy. Come on.
It's on me.
That's hey, bro. I'm trying to catch Doc on the road at a restaurant.
Right.
Let me see what the nicest restaurant is in Sacramento tonight. Doc gonna be there. He paid
For sure.
But no, he just was telling me like what he expected of me, what I needed to do in order to reach the goals that I wanted to reach, that our team needed to reach. And it was pretty simple. It was like, you need to be the best screen setter in the league, get on the rim faster than anybody in the league, challenge every shot, and any rebound that comes off, it needs to be yours. That's the mindset you gotta have. He said, you do that, you'll make $100 million, you'll be an all-star, you'll win a gold medal, you'll win Defensive Player of the Year, you'll be a champion. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, no, Doc, like, this is a scoring league. Mm-hmm. If you don't score, it doesn't matter. And he was like, if you just trust me. And I said, all right, you know what? Fuck it. You know, I'm gonna trust this guy. Like, he's had KG, and
right.
You know what I mean? So, like, if KG, one of my favorite players of all time, can trust Doc Rivers, I can too. Mm-hmm. So I did, and then, like, I started to see all of that stuff come, you know, and it was kind of crazy because I was like, damn, like, he was right. You know, and then I started to take pride in just being the best defender on the floor, blocking shots, trying to grab it. I thought every rebound that came off the rim was mine. Mm-hmm. Regardless if my teammate was there, like, I'm like, right. I'm going to get it. Like, every rebound is mine. Like, I became selfish with it. I became, like, obsessed with it almost. And then I started to see all those things happen. And then, like, obviously, like, we didn't win the championship with the Clippers. But I ultimately did end up winning one, which was awesome. But the only thing that we didn't accomplish was Defensive Player of the Year. So, but I made a couple first team all defensive teams, which was, you know, just as great. Mm-hmm. And you know, being able to believe in him and trust him with that was awesome.
Yeah. Secured the bag.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
So JJ and Jamal Crawford both talked about how they had minimal interaction with Donald Sterling during their time with the Clippers. And you were on the Clippers.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay, man. I got you here.
You see I'm getting like fidgety.
Hey, I'm doing my job.
I got a little tequila.
But, you know, you were on the Clippers for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And just curious, what were your interactions with Donald Sterling when you were a Clipper?
Well, mine were very minimal, you know, but they were also not ideal, you know. One of the first ones I had was like him and like a group of people coming into the locker room after the game. And, you know, you see that sometimes, you know, the owners of the teams coming into, you know, to congratulate everybody. But it was like, it's not like with the posse of people, you know. And this posse wasn't just like, you know, some of his boys. It was like some dudes, some chicks, some, you know. So it was like, all right, this is sketchy. But I'm a rookie, so I'm like, okay, maybe this is just how it is.
It's normal.
But then when people start coming up to people with towels on and everything like that, it was just like a weird deal, you know what I mean? But it wasn't, at 19, I just thought, okay, maybe this is just how the league is. But after a while, you start to realize from your veteran leaders that, like, nah, this is not normal, you know?
This is weird.
Yeah, it was just like this is strange. You know, can I take a picture with you? Like, all right,
Right.
cool. You know, I got my whatever. That's what you want to do, cool. But then, like, I'm sure you guys have heard about the white party and all of that stuff. Like, that was a sketch time. Like, it wasn't mandatory, but it was mandatory. You know what I'm saying? And that just was like, it was a weird deal. You know what I mean? Bro, the draft that, and like, I love.
But just before you, so people that don't understand what the white party is, what is the white
The
party?
white party is what it sounds like. Well, not what it sounds like.
Is this like, 4th of July, all white party?
This is like a American holiday themed party where you dress in all white. Obviously, it was not all white party. Where you dress in all white, and it was at one of Sterling's homes in Malibu on the beach. Super nice setup. And it was just kind of like his entourage of people, some business people, and the team. Mm-hmm. And what it felt like was almost a showcase of
Tall black guys.
He said that.
And what
I didn't say that. Oh, you said that. That's almost what it felt like. And then, like, I felt super awkward for a guy like Blake, who we had just drafted #1, and it was kind of like, he was escorting Blake around the party. You know what I mean? He was kind of like, meet him. Like, isn't he tall and handsome? And look at his muscles. You know, and it was kind of like, all right, well, I'm glad I ain't got no muscles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be like walking around.
That is awkward.
Yeah,
right?
like it was just kind of like
you flex.
Yeah, like
The
it was kinda
frick?
like, even Blake was like,
Yeah.
you know, it was weird, man. But then after a while, it was kind of like, y'all don't have to go to this no more.
Yeah.
You know? And we were like, thank you, we appreciate that. But it was just a strange time. And then P almost had to go to those things, but we drafted Al Farouk Aminu instead of P. But
I'm still hot at the Clippers for that. Cause you know what? I had a good ass workout in LA. Like, I thought, like, oh, okay, like it was 8, so it was like I don't know if I get drafted that early, but I also had a great ass workout there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I might be at the ring.
Yeah, we saw that, and afterwards we were like, oh, damn, we didn't get one soon. Oh, cool. I went, oh, Farouk, okay, cool. And then, like, when you guys' career started to progress, it was kind of like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, and that's no disrespect to Al Farouk Aminu. He had a great career for sure. But it's just like, it was just 2 totally different paths, and it was like, P could have had the pleasure of going to the white party.
Man, look at him talking. I didn't have no muscles there.
Look at his hairline.
Look at that hairline. That is a pristine hairline right there. Hey, look, Podcast P fam, we got to take a quick break on Story Mode with DJ to check in with my dog, John Wall. Stay tuned. This is The Connect, sponsored by AT&T. Stay connected to what matters most with AT&T. I'm happy to welcome my brother, 5-time All-Star, All-NBA, J-Dub.
Thanks for coming on, man.
What's up, bro? Appreciate you for having me. It's been a long time coming. I should have been on here, but we finally got our way up there.
Facts. I love you getting into this pod space, bro. How the pod space been going for you?
It's been dope, man. Something I never really thought I was going to get myself into. People came to me with the idea this summer. But I mean, last year when I was just chilling, I was like, I'm just working out, being a dad, being at home. So it got me to embrace myself, you know what I mean? Watching your pod, you know what I mean? Watching All the Smoke, watching other guys' pod, just put my mindset in there. And over time, episode after episode, you continue to get better. And I fell in love with, I get to talk about the game of basketball, something that I love. And I think I live and die behind it. So I've been enjoying it, bro. It's been a great space to be in.
Yeah, I think naturally, man, this is just a perfect space for you. Because you got like a photographic memory of like, it be shit you just remember it. I'll be like, damn, like you said like it just happened yesterday. So this definitely a perfect space for you. I do want to jump right into it. I saw Bones was down there working out with you recently in Miami. What's been the approach like as you navigate back to getting back into your form?
You know me, bro. I just love the game. Like you said, I'm always studying the game. I'm always talking about it. I see plays before it's supposed to happen.
What up, Jordan?
And I'm just a sponge of the game. I'm watching basketball all day, every day. Girls, high school, I have my own John Wall Holiday Invitational tournament. So I'm just locked into the game. I know how much it means to me. I know how much I miss the game. And, Bones always come down throughout the summer. He was here last year, and we get the opportunity to get in the gym. And, I'm always there trying to be a sponge, trying to be a vet to the young guys, just to teach them certain things they might not see, and have the mindset that you got to work. Like, I love to work. I love to be in the gym. And whenever guys ask to work out, I say, don't come over here and BS around now. Like, I'm coming to get my work. We ain't here to play around, mess around. It's an hour and a half, whatever we're doing. We're locked into the moment. So that's where I am. I know how much the game means to me, how much I want to get back to the game. Like you said, I've been an all-star. I've been a franchise player before. It's been a tough journey trying to get back there.
Yeah. Watercolor.
Just trying to stay healthy. I know a lot of these teams.
I'm already like 2 pages in. I got this hoe right here.
They don't have a lot of vets.
I like it. I got this hoe right here. I don't really like this. This is really like practice for me right here. This bitch already came off.
To be on the team. If it's playing, not playing, Benny Udonis, Hasbro, anything like that, I just want to be in the NBA jersey again because I know how much the game means to me, how much I still have left. And if it's helping the team playing, if it's helping the team trying to be a coach or be a mentor, I'm willing to accept that. So you know how much I love the game.
Right. I want to talk about, because, we came into the league together, and yourself, D. Rose, Russell, y'all kind of redefined that point guard position. You ever take a step back and from a legacy standpoint, like, do you realize how you revolutionized that point guard position?
Yeah, bro. Like you said, coming in, like when I first came in, seeing Russ and seeing D. Rose, I watched them in college, and I'm like, damn, these dudes is like that. Like, that's kind of the reason why I chose to go play for Coach Cal, watching D. Rose play. I'm like, I played just like this. But yeah, man, like, I tell people all the time, when we first came in, it wasn't no, you go guard the power forward or you go guard the other person. Like, point guard had to guard point guard. I remember I had matchups of D. Rose, Rondo. Then I go to the West Coast, I got Darren Williams, Steve Nash,
CP,
and Russ. And CP, and I'm like, man, this some BS. Like, why the league set me up with 6 games straight like this? So, yeah, I look at it because, like I always say, I don't think I got a lot of recognition for when I played. Like, I only made 1 All-NBA. That's great. And I'm like, I averaged 20 and 10 for a lot of years, but I know my peers giving me my credit. That's what it means the most to me. So I feel like, yeah, we definitely changed the game, brought that perspective back in. Being a true point guard, but a point guard that was athletic, can score at will, and can lead their team and defend on both sides. So, yeah, I sit back and think sometimes, and my son, he's 5, he come here and be like, Dad, let's go watch your YouTube highlights. And I'm like, how you know about my YouTube highlights? He's like, because when you come to school to pick me up or come to my events, the parents be like, that's John Wall right there, that's John Wall right there. And he don't know. He seen me play, but he was during COVID, so he really don't understand. And he sit back, and I just look over there sometimes and glimpse, and he be smiling. I'm like, as long as he happy and my peers know what I did, I can respect that, bro.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I definitely think you deserve your flowers, bro. From me to you, what you meant to this game, your impact, bro, you one of one. Like you mentioned, the athleticism, the speed, the playmaking, the leadership, the size, bro. Like you had the whole total package. You know what I mean? The ability just to score and like you was literally, when we played the Wizards, it was literally like, how do we stop John? Like, how do we slow him down in transition? You know what I mean? Like it was just so much game planning that went ahead, and then we had that long series against y'all. I remember my days in Indiana, man. That shit right there.
I was
it was
about
like,
to bring that up.
Well, I thought we was gonna lose. I ain't gonna lie. It took.
Hey, I'm mad, Pete, because we still game 1. I'm like, all right, we got him. Then game 2.
Yeah.
We the last 2 minutes, y'all been there before. This is our first playoff run, so y'all been there. So we don't understand the time management, the time we taking bad shots, and y'all just like, all right, we calm. We got 2 minutes. Then I'm like, damn, we go up. What is game 4? We up 20 and a half. And I don't know what got into you. Like, we said something to you.
Yeah, I went crazy.
I'm like, damn, P, like, then you start guarding me. I'm like, damn, why P got to guard me?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now I'm getting my respect in the league. Like, I got one of the best two-way guys in the league right now guarding me and giving buckets. But you came out, I think you had like 20, 23 in the third, hitting like 6 threes. I'm like, this is BS, man. So then, in our mindset, now we're down 3-1, P. We go back to Indiana, game 5. I'm like, I'm not talking to nobody. Like, I'm not talking to nobody because I remember y'all game plan was not to help from this corner. And pick and roll back then, y'all used to stunt from the corner, and that's when I get a lot of assisted corner threes to Trevor Reeves or Brad, and y'all stay home. And I'm like, damn, we got to figure this out. So then we got about the game 6, y'all close it out. Y'all ran that, whatever you call it, side pick and roll, Dave West pick and popping, and you in the opposite corners, like, we can't stunt there. Like, what the hell we going to do?
There go that memory.
Yeah, and I was just going to say,
there go that memory, man. That motherfucker got a vivid memory. He's sharp memory over there, man.
John, you had a great moment recently on your podcast with one of your centers, Gortat, which, by the way, was one of my favorite 2K centers back in the day.
No,
but
for real.
he was on your podcast, and he apologized for a situation where no one came to see you when you went to the hospital when you had surgery during your time in D.C. Just talk a little bit about what that apology meant to you and how it made you feel.
In a moment, it hurt. You know what I mean? In real lifetime, it hurt. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I take my responsibility for letting the outside noise get to me and also get to our team. You know what I mean? As a team leader, you got to kind of cancel the outside noise in. And, you know, sometimes the media or other people that don't want to see y'all happy come in and try to tear your team apart. So I put a little bit on my burden, but, I mean, at the same time, I was happy to get that apology. That's somebody that I'm glad that we got past that. That's somebody I call my brother, somebody I enjoy play with, a guy that got me hell of assists, set a lot of illegal screens, which I call the Gortat screen, to give me my dunk. So I definitely enjoyed that. And also just him coming in when I first got there, you know what I mean? He came in and he had played with Steve Nash in Phoenix, you know what I mean? So at the same time, I'm learning a lot of pick and roll things from him. I'm asking him questions, trying to be a sponge of the game. So I definitely appreciate that apology. At the same time, I learned my lessons of learning how to be a better leader from that, not let the outside noise get in. And that's somebody I still call my brother, and I'm glad we was able to have that and have him on my pod and have that conversation and get past it as two grown men.
That's awesome. And this question is for the both of you, but I'm sure both of you guys, you know, you got into the league and you each became superstars on your own, you know, respective teams. And as you guys have aged and gone through your career, how many times would you say do you have moments that you would look back on and find places maybe when you were a little bit more immature and younger where there were situations where you guys could have, you know, now you can say, hey, I could have been a better leader there. Do you guys have some moments that maybe you could kind of touch on that?
Yeah, I feel like the one we just talked about, the one with Gortat situation, when, you know, I was injured and they came out, they went on a winning streak, and everybody was like, everybody eats. And, you know, if you watch the movie Paid in Food, they said that, and I kind of let it linger a little bit, and then I took it the wrong way. You know what I mean? I let the outside noise get in, and then we kind of started losing. I was like, all right, so y'all need me. But as a leader, I got to learn how to take that backseat to that. And then also I say, right before I got traded from D.C., that's another situation I got traded from D.C. You know, Brad started getting into his rhythm, finding himself, making All-NBA, making All-Stars. And, you know, everybody was like, well, they can't play together. Kind of you look at the Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown situation. 7 years, they're like, oh, they not winning together, they can't play together. Is John going to take the ball away from Brad? And like I always told anybody, I didn't care about being a franchise guy anymore. I did it already. I had love for the city. I had love for the community. That's all that I really cared about. I was just trying to be the best big brother and point guard to help Brad keep elevating his game and go to that next step. That never really dwelled on me like that. And another situation I say is the Houston situation. I mean, like going there, I think I was a great vet for those guys. But I think just saying my time there wasn't, I said it was like pointless and wasteless. It never was, because God gave me opportunity to come back and play the game. And it was during COVID, so, you know, it was a lot of frustrations. And dealing with my mom passing and my grandma passing, and then being traded from a place I've been to, called home for 10 years, that kind of hurt me a little bit. But I apologize and give my shout out to the Rockets organization and their front office and their owner, because they gave me an opportunity to play there. They gave me an opportunity to put back on the NBA jersey and give my respect. So those are the situations I would piggyback on.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had moments throughout my career, especially early in my career, my days in Indiana, where, you know, I felt I didn't do the young guys a good service there, like Miles Turner and, you know, just the young guys that was after me. I think, you know, at the time I was a little frustrated with the direction we were going. I felt, you know, I'm in my prime, put some talent around me, put some veterans around me, like, let's go try to win a chip. But in hindsight, you know, had I been there and you know, kind of just played it through, helped the young guys in time, you know, we could have turned our young guys into some valuable pieces to play with. But, you know how this league go, man. You feel like your years is dwindling down. You putting your body through so much shit, and it's just like, man, like, I don't know how much more of this, like, it ain't equating to winning or winning at a high level or you know what I mean, at that point trying to compete for a championship. So I was definitely immature in that moment of like letting the rope go, as people would say, you know what I mean, on you know, that situation in Indiana. And it helped me kind of grow later in my career on just give everything you got, be all, you know what I mean, all the way in with your teammates. Now I have a different approach with the young guys. Like, I try to take them under my wing. I try to talk to them and communicate and just be there for them, stay late after practice, and just build a separate, you know what I mean, relationship with them through that process. So I definitely learned a lot, you know what I mean. Those days in Indiana helped me, you know what I mean, from where I'm at now, for sure.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you're much more active with those younger guys on the team.
Yeah.
All the interactions I've seen you with them, you can tell that they look up to you and they listen to you, which is good. John, I want to rewind a little bit to your time when you were playing with the Clippers, which was a fun year. Everyone was excited. And like, this is my city. But just walk us through that moment, going back to D.C. and having the game you had. What was that like for you personally?
It was amazing, bro. It really, still to this day, give me chills because, I mean, being there.
You leaving, and, you know, the respect that they have for you, because you meant so much, and then you just see kids with the 2 Wizards jersey in the crowds, and I remember just playing, and I'm looking around like, there's a lot of like John Wall support in here.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was just a dope moment, bro. And I'm happy that they sent you off like that. I'm happy that you had that moment to bring peace to, I feel like, that situation as a whole. And man, that was awesome. That was nothing but love there.
It felt so dope for me because I forgot when I went there with Houston, it was COVID. You know what I mean? So it was no fans allowed. So I got to play one time, but it was no fans there. So that's why I say it was so much, because I know a lot of people wanted to go, but there was no fans. So when I went back and I was with the Clippers, and to be there with y'all, like guys I know for a long time, and to get that love and get the video, it definitely gave chills.
I know we had Gil here earlier in the season, and he mentioned that he would give the nod to you as being the greatest Wizard of all time. Do you feel that way yourself?
It's funny, bro, because I do. You know what I mean? Like, I know how much Gil means to the city, and like how he embraced the community the same way I did. I always tell people, like, I had arguments with DC guys all the time. Like, I'm taking Gil, I'm taking you. I'm like, I get it. I'm not mad at either one, but I feel like I'm that guy. You know what I mean? Just for going, number one, being there, embracing the city the way I did, the way they're embracing me. I always go back, man. I try to go back every summer and show love. You know what I mean? I still do my backpack giveaway there, or I try to do a turkey drive or anything just to get back, because I know how much those people come from what I come from. You know what I mean? Being in Section 8, being in places where you have single moms or single dad, or you just don't have what you need, and I just always want to embrace and get back to that. So I definitely call myself the greatest Wizard, but I don't really like to say that unless other people say it. You know, like sometimes like, well, I call myself the GOAT, but everybody else give me that recognition. So it's a debate to have, but I respect Gil for that, and I definitely want to give a big shout out to Gil because I seen him on his pod when he was talking about, like, I gave him the love of basketball back. You know what I mean? And I never knew that story. Like, I just always, he said I can reach out to him. I hit Gil like, yo, what you think I can work on? What you think I can fix? And he was like, he never told me that he wasn't watching basketball. He was black, checked out of basketball. So to see that, that's a lot of love, and that's somebody that I respect. So shout out to Gil for sure.
Right. That's one thing I love about this pod space is, like, indirectly you can get these stories off and hear from what other people's point of views are. When it's all said and done, you feel like number 2 should be hung in that Raptors in DC.
That would be something I would love, man. For my family, I would love that. For the team that drafted me, number 1, that would be great. I think for the city, they would love that and embrace that for sure. But in the day, you know, that's all up to Mr. Leonsis and his family and the Wizard organization to make that decision. But, you know, DC will always be home to me, bro. I connected with the fans. I connected with the community. They always hold a special place in my heart. But for damn sure, my jersey should be in the Raptors, bro.
There you have it, man. We heard it from Dub himself. You got something?
I got one more question, because when I think of you, you know, you have that iconic moment where you come out and you do the Dougie, okay? And there's a lot of people that watch this show, and I might be one of them, that might not be, you know, the best at doing the Dougie. I want to know if you were to pinpoint like the most important part of the Dougie for someone that might struggle with it, what would that be?
Well, me and Pete did have to win the slam dunk contest thing, but
he got me the Dougie. Yeah, that took a lot. That took a lot.
I gotta ask the pro. You know,
I got Pete the Dougie a little bit and do the nay with a little bit. But
is it the hands?
It's all about it's the hands and the shoulder movement.
Okay.
Bro. Like you gotta have a little bit of hands and shoulder movement. You know, like any dance you do, it's all about the basics.
Yeah.
And then you gotta throw your flair into it if you got some sauce. If you ain't got none,
just leave it alone.
You might get lost in the sauce. Just leave it alone.
Okay. Leave it alone.
But if you got if you can just get the fundamentals, then you start adding all the other stuff. Like for me, I was shocked I did it.
Yeah.
Even when I danced in college, I'll be honest with y'all. I'm always a kid that didn't like dancing, do shit in front of nobody. And I was like, I gotta have an ionic moment. Like I gotta do something special. So go to Midnight Madness in Kentucky. Kyle said nobody do no dancing or nothing when y'all go up there high. And they dropped this song, and I'm like, I'm dancing. I don't care what he's talking about. It was legendary. So, like, Gil didn't think I would dance coming out my first home game. Like, I bet you won't dance. And then the beat dropped, and I was like,
started line up.
It's here now. Like, I came back away. So, but I didn't even dap my teammates up. I take that back. I didn't even dap my teammates up. I remember, like, Kurt Heinrich holding their head, not trying to dap me. And I was just locked into doing my Dougie like I was getting paid.
Yeah.
I always have to pretend like I know how to do it because the part where it goes, I ain't from Dallas, but I D-Town boogie, so if I'm feeling good, I have to throw a little like something. I gotta act like I know what I'm doing a little bit.
But you know, like the D-Town boogie is like another little dance you add to it. Like that ain't even the Dougie, it's just like another little dance that you do.
Yeah.
I'll show you one day in person.
Fair enough.
There you have it. We got it there. Hey, Dub, we appreciate you for coming through, bro. Thanks for hanging with us. Stay close to the action with AT&T. At home or on the go, AT&T keeps you connected to the game you love. Appreciate you, Dub. Love you, bro.
Appreciate you, Pete. Love, Brody.
So during the Clippers time, there was free agency situation that went on with the Mavericks. This at the time was probably one of the NBA's social media free agency stories that involved different stories and emojis and just a ton of stuff around it. Yeah. Can you set the scene for what happened during the decision to re-sign back with the Clippers? Because for the longest, I mean, we know that you was back home in Dallas. They had you locked in the house.
All right, so
forced you to make this decision.
I'm from Houston first and foremost.
Houston, not Dallas.
Yeah. I'm from Houston, but I was gonna go back to Texas, my home state. But because this was after we had beat somebody in the first round, I forget, and then we were playing Houston in the second round, and we beat San Antonio. First round we beat, and then we're up 3-1 on Houston. We lose. So I'm like, all right, well, fuck, like maybe we ain't got it. This is just, it's maybe time for me to move on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Dallas. And I was like so sure about my decision at that point in my career that I was like, I need to try something different. I need to move on and maybe accept a new challenge for myself. And I told Blake and Chris, but I was scared to tell Doc. So I was like, man, we so close, but I'm like, I don't want to let him down, So I went back I told Mark and Chandler and Dirk I was coming to Dallas. And they're like, hey, let's fly to Dallas tonight. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to go home. Me and my family going to Jamaica or somewhere. And we went, and I was like, nah, I'll come back. I'll go to Dallas after I get back. I need to, once free agency starts, I want to go home and, just kind of separate myself. We're in Houston at my house. My brother's there, a couple of my buddies, and I get a call from Doc. And I'm like, oh, shit. And my brother Corey, who's over there right now, is like, don't answer that. And I'm like, nah, that's my dog. I got to answer the phone. So I talked to Doc for a second, and we're just chatting it up. And I've told this story a ton of times, so it's out there. And I'm like, he's like, hey, man, it took me a while. I'm happy for you. I just think that we got some unfinished business here. I'm like, yeah, I understand that too. I feel that. But I just, I want to try something new. I just don't think that we're going to get over that hump. And I said, then plus, Doc, I already told these people I'm going to Dallas. I can't tell them I'm not going, And he was like, well, if you did change your mind, we would have your back. And I'm like, man, I know, Doc, but it's just tough. He said, well, give me an hour. I'll call you right back. All right, cool. So, like 20 minutes later, Blake calls me. He's like, hey, bro, what's going on? You coming back? And I'm like, what you mean? I was like, oh, we're going to Dallas. And he was like, well, shit, Doc just called me and we're coming to Houston tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, shit, y'all coming to Houston? Yeah. I'm like, all right. I was like, I want to stay with the Clippers. I don't want to.
Like, because whoever said the final word of whatever the pitch was, like, what was the final word of, like,
Well, my mom got it popping.
I'm coming back.
My mom got it popping. She was like, Steve was there, Baltimore was there, and Doc was there, and they was like, all right, anybody got anything to say? And we all kind of like sitting there, like, and my mom was like,
What's been on, bro?
all right, well, I got something. Y'all don't like each other? Like, y'all three don't like each other? Which I understand, I get it. But, to Dallas, I was kind of like the devil, you know what I'm saying? And it was, I get it. I did make a verbal commitment to them. I understand that. But, it was the...
Well, what's your craziest Paul Pierce story as a teammate?
I mean, I gotta say, it's probably the meeting, bro. Like, at my crib, I had never met Paul before. But Paul showed up to the meeting, I think we had signed Paul as a free agent that summer. And then, I see, Blake and Chris and JJ and then Doc and Balmer and then one of the equipment managers who I was super duper close with. He comes in and then it's like Pete. And I'm like, oh, what up? And he was like, what's happening? He's like, yeah, man, we trying to get your big ass to stay, dog. Damn, what you doing? Where you going? You going to Dallas? What's up? And I'm like, all right, sit down. You want to drink? Like, what, and I'm like, all right, like, and my mom was like, is that Paul Pierce? I'm like, yeah, I guess he is. So it was just funny, like, but it was cool to like have a guy who's a Hall of Famer, a champion, like pull up who doesn't know me at all just from basketball, pull up and be like, nah, bro, we want you to stay here. Like that was cool, but definitely very cool.
So with all the bad blood between the decision that you were going to make to the decision that you did make, you ended up still being in Dallas a couple years after that.
Yeah.
Then you're there with the young Luka.
Yeah.
But there's that hilarious video of going for a rebound, you push Luka out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
So NBA Twitter had fun with that one.
Yeah.
What was the relationship like between y'all two? Because it seemed like, you have a way with the Europeans, because also Jokic has a very special relationship with you as well.
Yeah,
what was
my dog.
What was the relationship like with you and Luka?
Luka and I were great, man. Like, I think that video got blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Luka's very animated, but I love Luka, and it was kind of like I told you, like, I'm like, every rebound is mine. I'm getting every rebound. Like, I'm gonna give y'all the ball, but I'm getting every rebound. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like, it was just funny because when I got the rebound, I was like, yeah, bitch, and then gave, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, this is like a joking thing, but like, when people get stuff on media, it's kind of like, Luka was upset with DeAndre about this. Mm-hmm. Like, no, we laughed about it in the locker room afterwards. So it was just kind of like, okay, I'll let it play out. But I enjoyed my time in Dallas. I'm obviously a Cowboys fan, die hard. So it was cool to be able to do that. But it was also be able to be close to Houston and be able to be around my family. Mm-hmm. But playing with Luka was great, bro. Like, he came in when he was 18 or 19 years old, and he had it then. Mm-hmm. And for me, a guy who is going to feed off of a playmaking guard, it was great to be able to play with a guy like that.
Was there like a particular moment that you watched him and you was like, yeah, he liked that?
I think just watching him in training camp and in practice, like him just being so, like he works on his craft, no doubt. Just seeing him do nonchalant stuff like behind the back half court shots or hook shots from the free throw line, 3-point line, and he just switching them both hands, and I'm kind of like, and he's messing around. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like he was trying to make these shots. He was just goofing off. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh shit, like I had seen his highlights, but I had never seen him play in person. And just to be able to see him control his own pace, he's not sped up by anybody. He's bigger. He's stronger than a lot of guys. It was fun to see him. I'm like, damn, this dude's a rookie. Obviously, he had been a pro for a few years prior.
Right.
But to be able to see him do that stuff, I'm like, oh, he's going to be good for a very long time.
Everyone's got a thirst, a drive to be the next big thing, to put the world on notice. And for me, to be one of the best basketball players every night. So if you answer when your thirst calls, it's right for you.
Well, you know it's for me then. Having equity and being a managing partner in my own mortgage company at the age of 35 has quenched my thirst to be as successful as I wanted. But
You look at Jokic. Now you throw Blake into that mix. How special was Blake when you watch him up close?
Blake Griffin is one of the most.
Because I don't think he gets the credit that he
doesn't
deserves.
get the credit that he deserves, bro. Like, just the way that his game was able to adapt over the course of his career, I thought was amazing. When he first came in, he was obviously like a highlight reel dunker and playmaker, but then like when injury started to affect him, he was like, oh, you know what? Hey, I can still dunk on your ass,
Right.
but I'm gonna work on my 15-footer, I'm working on my 18-footer, I'm working on my 3, I'm working on my ball handling to where I can become a dominant point forward. And like, if Blake was in his prime right now, he would make $500 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the player that he was, man. And I think if Blake wanted to play now, he could still be playing basketball. And like his work ethic was one of the hardest that I've ever seen in my life. And he was just super duper special, bro. And like, I think when you're able to adapt to different teams, different teammates, different time periods of the game, that's a great trait to have. And he had that.
Yeah. You talk about like guys that just know how to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
They come out this way. This is what the league know them as.
Yeah.
Then they reinvent themselves, and then they extend their careers, and they, you know what I mean? Like you look at Al Horford, the guy that reinvented himself, and now is a champion. Like you look, year 17, like it's crazy.
Because you think about Blake, and it was like, okay, he's going to Detroit. All right, they're gonna forget about Blake Griffin.
Exactly.
Like, no, he went there and led them to the playoffs. He was an all-star there. He shot the shit out of the ball from 3. Like, he was the leader of that team, and I think that, you know, that definitely gets overlooked. And then even when he came to Brooklyn, he was a great player there. And in Boston last year, he was great there as well. So it was, you know,
I forgot he played for Boston
throughout the course of his career.
do you think he's a good comedian now? Because doesn't he do a lot of stuff with comedy now?
He's pretty funny, bro. Like, Blake's always been a funny dude, but it was kind of like once he was like, all right, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do comedy, I'm gonna tell jokes. It was like, oh shit, like, you know what, like, you could go out there and bomb. But it was like, you know what, I could also go out there and fucking kill it, because half the battle is like, getting these people on my side, and then when I go out there, they on my side.
Right.
You know, but like, he had that with him, but also like, Blake is funny as shit. You know what I mean? So like, he had the double whammy, you know, so it's like, he's taking this shit to another level.
That shit just came out of like left field though. Like,
yeah.
Did you like when he did it? Was there ever a conversation like, yo, DJ, I think I'm gonna get into this comedy shit?
Yeah, it was a conversation. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, we can tell jokes with each other and on the team bus. Like, that's great, but like telling jokes in front of people we don't know, like what? And then I remember like maybe his second to last year with the Clippers, he had hosted like a comedy event, and he went up there and told jokes. And I was like, oh shit, he's actually really good, bro. And it was just, he was super raw, but he was really good. And then like, to see him progress and like take it seriously, write jokes down. He's producing comedy movies now and other things. It's kind of cool to see, man. And I'm happy. A lot of shit talking being thrown around, and towards the end of the game, it was. And I'm sitting on the bench, so I talk shit, you know, but I'm not like, I beat your ass, PG. This ain't for me. Talk to him, I'm like, y'all not talking to him.
Right.
All 15 of y'all want to talk to him. That's not happening. Then I turn around, I got my whole teammates here. Somebody has a weight in their hand. You know, so this was just like a crazy situation. And
it was escalating.
Yeah, it was escalating. But I don't, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think nobody in the league want to fight.
Right. But that's the most that, like, that reaction is the most that that's what probably seen that I've ever heard of.
That one and then the Warriors, I'm like, oh, I may have to throw down tonight.
Yeah.
You know? But then it was kind of like, security came in there and kind of separated everything, and then it was dead after that.
That'd have been fun to watch.
So fast forward 2019 with Kyrie and KD. Give us the backstory of how that happened. What got you into?
Well, I was in Dallas that year, and then I ended up getting traded to the Knicks, and KD, Kai, and I were super duper close, and we had been talking about teaming up for a while, and it just never quite happened. Our deals never aligned with that, and then that year it kind of did, and we had talked about teams and discussed teams, and the Knicks came up, and I was like, well, shit, I'm already here.
Oh,
I was like, I'm already here. We can come here. You know, they got a ton of money, and you know, it's a great city, this and that. And then the Nets got brought up, and in their roster, they already had some great pieces. And then ultimately, we decided that was what we were going to do, and it was a great time. I thought at that point in my career, it was a great decision to be able to play with two of my great friends. And ultimately, we obviously didn't reach the goal that we wanted to. But I think it was, looking back on it, it was a great time for me because I was able to actually like choose my path with guys that I wanted to play with. And if I succeeded, it was my decision. If I failed, it was my decision. But ultimately, we didn't reach the goal that we wanted to reach. But I was happy with it. I got to play with some great guys in an amazing city and live on the East Coast for the first time in my career.
So after leaving the Nets, you decide you joined the 2021 Los Angeles Lakers for a little bit of time, and on that team you had LeBron, Carmelo, Rondo, and Russ, just a ton of stars. And Melo on his show, he